you're not ready to lose weight yet. If you are listening to this podcast, unless you are an outlier, more than likely you are not ready to lose weight yet. If all of a sudden I gave you your dream body right now, like Jared the Genie, poof, you have your dream body, and then I see you a year from now, would you still have that dream body? If you just admitted that magic poof, you have the body of your dreams, 30, 50 pounds, 20, 30, whatever the number is for you, disappeared, would you be good? Chances are you would say, well, Jared, I would still be binge eating and I would gain it back. I would still be uncontrolled on the weekends and I would gain it back. Or I would still sabotage like I've done the last 20 years. Or I would still feel uncontrolled around certain foods and I would end up eating sleeves of Oreos again. So if that's the case, we have to earn the right to lose weight, because at the end of the day, you must diet from the inside out first before you diet for real. So your new life is on the other side of 3 very distinct stages. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Dieting from the Inside Out. If you're new around here, welcome to the show. My name is Jared Hamilton and I'm your host, and I'm really excited about today's episode because in this episode, we are talking about the exact systems and formulas that I personally use with our clients. That way you can lose your next 20 to 30 pounds and become totally free around food. This is one of those episodes where I am opening up the curtain and just showing you everything. I don't believe in gatekeeping. And about a year ago, we did an episode where it was basically like, hey, here's exactly how we create results and take this and run with it. Whether you're working with us or not, here's what we do and why what we do works, with hundreds and thousands of people at the time of recording this. And it went over so well, it helped so many people. And I want to do the same thing because I have just a different take on it about a year later. We've done some other stuff as well. So I just want to show it here. So this way you can quite literally steal the formula and the frameworks and the systems that I use and the method behind the madness and the mindset and thought process behind all of this to get to where you want to be ultimately. So I have a lot of notes on this. So if you're watching the video, which you should be on YouTube and then now Spotify, I'll be looking back and forth a little bit, but let's get into it. Because like I said, I don't believe in gatekeeping. And whether you ever work with us or not, I think it's important that you understand how to create the results that you're looking for that last a lifetime. Because if you're listening to this episode, I don't think you're the kind of person who is just wanting a quick fix or who is wanting to lose some weight and then gain it back. I think if you're listening to a show called Dieting from the Inside Out, I think it's because you want results in a true transformation that never leaves. That's what I think. I'll be honest with you. The reason I can guarantee results or you don't pay in my program, that's like my big guarantee, is because everything I do is backed by systems, frameworks and processes. That's the big piece, is because there's a lot of coaches and programs out there who they're running everything off of just like vibes, for lack of a better term, where there's no systems, there's no specifics, there's no formula, so to speak, that is proven by numbers and data to get a massive amount of people to where they want to be. Because anyone can create results one time. Anyone can create random results. But the things that matter most, and if you look in other areas in your life, the magic is when things are backed and proven by framework systems and formulas. And that's why this works so well. It's why, I've literally been doing this for about 15 years and we've worked with over 1,000 women, and it's why we can produce results that are not just like crazy results, but crazy results duplicatable, where it's just our normal day in the life, is because the systems and frameworks are perfected. Because when you also, not a lot of people know this, when you do everything backed by systems and frameworks in specific formulas, you can then make tweaks and adjustments. It's just like any other like scientific equation, is when you say, cool, this is the exact order of operations. And then when we need to test stuff like, wait, okay, over the last 100 people that has gone through this, or 80 people or 20 people or whatever, if we see a same level of consistency, like what do we need to do to refine it to make it better? What do we need to do to make it more streamlined or smooth? And then we can make calculated adjustments. And that's what we've been doing. And that's why it works so well. So, and also just throwing this out there now, if after listening to this episode, you go, oh, wow, like that's exactly what I want. I'm done trying to figure this out on my own. And I want to follow this proven framework. And if it's guaranteed or I don't pay, like, yeah, I want to get in on that. If that's you, shoot me a message that just says DFIO, stands for Dieting from the Inside Out. And you can just shoot me a message on Instagram at @RealJaredHamilton, but just send it and just say DFIO. And then I'll see if the program Dieting from the Inside Out is a good fit. So let's start on a high level, because I think it's important to understand from a like 30,000 foot view, the systems and the framework that you can apply so you conceptually understand it. Then we'll get a little bit more into the weeds. So you have to understand, whenever we create results, everything for me comes down to a very specific 3 stages, because in this way, whenever there is these specific stages, you know exactly where you're at, what's required to then get to the next place and the next level, as well as you don't get ahead of yourself. It's with anything good that you do, there is an order of operations. I bet with your career, there's SOPs. With emergency response, there's an order of operations that has to be had, whether it be a firefighter taking care of an apartment fire, or police officers responding to an event, or it doesn't matter. Everything comes down to, what are the frameworks, what are the systems that are proven and backed by chaos and stress? Because you can be good, all fine, hunky-dory when life is cool, calm, and collected, but what are your frameworks? How do you approach this when things get sticky, when life gets loud and chaotic and overwhelming and stress hits or holidays hit? That's where we need these things the most. So let's get into it. So your new life, in my neck of the woods, is on the other side of 3 very distinct stages. So the 3 stages are dieting from the inside out, boring fat loss, and maintenance mastery. So again, whether you ever work with us or not, you should imitate this, or you should model what we are doing for you, and it will just make everything 10 times better. So here's the whole concept behind dieting from the inside out. And it's also why everything I do and touch is dieting from the inside out. My program is called Dieting from the Inside Out. The first stage in our program is called Dieting from the Inside Out. My podcast is called Dieting from the Inside Out. And whenever my book drops, you're probably going to see Dieting from the Inside Out on that as well. Because at the end of the day, you must diet from the inside out first before you diet for real. Where this term, a lot of people don't know this, even came from, this whole like coined term of dieting from the inside out, it was several years ago. I was explaining to someone who was applying for coaching how we create results, because I think it's important. If you can't explain conceptually how you create results, I don't think you can create them. And so she was curious how we created results, and she was applying for the program and all this stuff. And I said, and especially on the stage 1, it was just about inner game, fixing the internal game and the psychology and all that stuff I'm about to talk about. But conceptually, I basically said, yeah, so I'm basically going to diet you from the inside out first before I diet you for real, because you're not ready to lose weight yet. Because at the end of the day, this stuff is only as helpful as my ability to communicate it, where you go, oh, that makes sense. Because if you don't understand, you can't conceptually see yourself inside this, and it makes sense logically, not just emotionally, then it's going to get in the way of you getting to where you want to be. So that's where the term dieting from the inside out was coined, because here's the belief shift. You're not ready to lose weight yet. If you are listening to this podcast, unless you are an outlier, more than likely you are not ready to lose weight yet. So this is why, if I were to snap my fingers and say, cool, 30 pounds disappeared, are you good? Is the 30 pounds staying off? Like, sit with that for just a second. Is it? Or let me reframe that. If all of a sudden I gave you your dream body right now, like Jared the Genie, poof, you have your dream body, and then I see you a year from now, would you still have that dream body? You love the way you look. You love the way you feel. The 30 pounds are off. You fit in all your clothes. No cutting into you when you sit down with your jeans. Literally, you're confident in every way, shape, and form. You have sex with the lights on. All of this, all of that, everything is done. The scale's where you want it. You fit in everything. You look fantastic. You're in your dream body. Your body, even like you walk into the room and your husband even like sits up a little bit straighter, because like your aura commands that. And so I give that to you right now. A year from now, will you still have it? For most people, the answer is no. And again, there's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no anything wrong with that. That's why we're here talking. But if that's the case, and you just agreed in your own head that magic genie powers does not give you the long-term result that you want, then my question is, why are we trying to white knuckle through fat loss? If you just admitted that magic poof, you have the body of your dreams, 30, 50 pounds, 20, 30, whatever the number is for you, disappeared, would you be good? And if you went, I don't think so. Why? chances are you would say, well, Jared, I would still be binge eating and I would gain it back. I would still be uncontrolled on the weekends and I would gain it back. Or I would still sabotage like I've done the last 20 years. Or I would still feel uncontrolled around certain foods and I would end up eating sleeves of Oreos again. Or I would still be running to food when stressed or emotional and I would smash pints of ice cream every other night. I would still have no idea how to handle the holidays that are coming up. And then I would end up gaining everything back and So if that's the case, why are we white knuckling through weight loss? We have to earn the right to lose weight. Now, I've had people get upset with that statement, and that's okay. My content and my way of coaching is not for everyone. But this is why dieting from the inside out is the most important piece in all of this. I've literally thought about forgetting the other two stages of my program and just doing only everything dieting from the inside out. But I think it's important. You're also here because you want to lose weight. You want to love your body. You want to live a long time. You want to be healthy. But your internal world is what is destroying it for you. So that's why let's fix it first. And the same thing, I want you to compare this to building a house. If you are going to build your dream house, you can have the best walls in the ceiling and furnishings and everything from the ground up. But none of that matters if the foundation is not set in, correct? If you won the lottery and you are building the home of your dreams and the builder said, hey, we can actually get you this thing like 6 months faster if we just don't have a foundation. Are you cool with that? You would probably be offended and go, no, take as long as you need because I want my home to last forever. Well, if you want your home to last forever, and you should want your results to last forever because it's the same concept here. So this is why in dieting from the inside out, we do not care if you lose weight yet. I was just having a call with someone the other day who, let's say it was just not in the cards for them to join the program. And I said, well, let me put you on some free game. Whether you work with us or not, you need to mimic these 3 stages because right now, and I told her this, I said, you're not ready for weight loss yet. She'd been trying to lose weight. And I go, the problem is, and it was all these other things I'm about to show you, like her relationship with food is bad. She always stressed ate. She never did anything sustainable. She struggled with the knowledge trap where you know what to do, but don't do it and all this other stuff. I said, that list has to be fixed first. Then once you check all those boxes, now you can go into fat loss. And that's what I'm going to tell you as well, because this is why in my program, you have to earn the right to lose weight. Weight loss doesn't happen until stage 2. So inside stage 1, you have to fix all of the under the surface stuff where your results in your struggles stem from. Because if you cannot lose the weight or you're always gaining weight, let's just fix that first. The example I always give is if you are trying to fill a bucket up of water and you have a bunch of holes in the bucket, why don't we just stop? Why don't we press pause on filling the bucket up more with water and just plug all the holes? Why don't we stop the reasons you gain weight before we keep trying to lose weight? So this is where a lot of people miss the mark, is most people believe if they are not aggressively trying to lose weight, they are gaining weight. That's not how we do things here. Whenever we work with someone, we don't let them gain a bunch of weight and go up in pant sizes in stage 1. We are just pausing fat loss. We aren't ready for it. Just assume stage 2, in where you're actually losing weight, is the season where in a house building, you're putting the walls up. We're just not ready for it yet. You have no foundation. So inside stage 1, here is specifically what you need to have check marks on where you go, cool, I'm good there, I'm good there, and good there. So when I say you have to fix your inner game, you have to fix what's underneath, this is what I mean. We have to fix your entire psychology. So number 1, we have to fix your relationship with food. Okay, that's why you feel uncontrolled. That's why you have food noise. That's why you have all this baggage and these issues around food. We have to fix specifically your food noise. If you can't quit thinking about food 24/7 and you're obsessive and compulsive, and it doesn't matter what you do, you're obsessing and it's causing you to fall off, we have to fix that. We have to fix how uncontrolled you are. If you are feeling uncontrolled around any food, it doesn't matter what fat loss strategy I give you. It doesn't matter if you lose a few pounds this week. The Oreos are going to cause you to fall off if you can't keep them in your house. If you have a list of foods that you just know you can't keep in your house because you're going to go rogue, then we're not ready to lose weight yet, because you are one slip up from undoing everything. Okay. We have to fix the binge eating or overeating. Binge eating is like on a spectrum. Like you have like mild overeating all the way up to like hardcore binge eating. So if you are struggling with consistent levels of any of it, big binges, little binges, just enough overeating to throw fat loss off and sabotage you, we have to fix all of it. It doesn't matter. In my program, we have people from everything from people who binge eat like 6,000 calorie days, like 4 or 5 days a week, and we'll fix. But then we have some people who literally say, Jared, I'm not out of control, but I overeat when I'm stressed or on the weekends just enough that stops me from losing weight. Regardless, we fix it. We have the same protocol. We have frameworks for overeating and binge eating because there's 4 different reasons for binge eating, and we have to address all of them. Okay. Next, we have to fix your beliefs and identity. This is where a lot of programs, most programs don't do anything that I'm talking about except for mine. But we also have to get to the deep root causes, what drive all of that stuff, which means we have to fix your beliefs and identity, because your current belief systems are what is controlling your unconscious decisions. You are on autopilot, most of you listening, probably 80-90% of the day, the overwhelming majority. Well, your autopilot is what has you going to food. It's what's having you sabotage and fall off and gain your weight back. But if we go, well, what are those things based in? It's based in your psychology, as in specifically your belief systems and your identity, which is the beliefs about yourself. Now you may think like, Jared, you're kind of in airy fairy land, but like, I'm guessing if you're listening to this episode, your results aren't very good. So if you're like, Jared, that sounds a little bit out there, well, then why aren't your results better? Like, I don't mean to sound like a dick, but a lot of this stuff, most people, when they first hear it, they're like, that's not relevant. But unless your results are awesome and you're thriving, I don't think you have much room to talk about what's relevant or what's airy fairy and what's not, because I can tell you this stuff right here is the catalyst where I've been able to take people who have struggled for decades and decades and decades on end and fix it in weeks. And I'm very good at it. And it's because we have to fix the things that actually drive your behavior. Everyone is so obsessed with, what do I do? Well, how about instead of being just obsessed with what you do, why don't we fix who you are in the patterns that run on autopilot that are in congruence with the beliefs you hold about this journey and yourself. And then all of a sudden what you do starts to take care of itself. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to be thinking about this stuff very much. But think about it this way. Do you have to think about brushing your teeth very much? Do you have to think about taking care of your kids? Do you have to think about taking care of your dog? Do you have to think about half the shit you do every day? You don't. It's because they're a reflection of beliefs you hold in your specifics about your identity. So why don't we just do the same thing for this stuff? Okay, we're not done yet. We have to fix the childhood patterns, because for most of you listening, your struggles around food and weight loss started when you were little. Mine started when I was 11, when I was put on Weight Watchers. I get it. I was counting points at 11 years old, having tons of food noise, and I literally could feel my relationship with food crumbling right in front of me walking through the store, because I knew too many points, can't eat that, shouldn't eat that, that's bad. Oh, here's the food I can binge on. It was horrible. So, and then from there till about 20, I tried every diet under the sun and still struggled. So like, I've been where you're at. We have to fix that stuff. More in stage one. We have to fix your baseline and starting point. Most people's baseline of where they're starting from is so shitty. It's no wonder we can't lose weight. If you're eating 800 calories a day, 1,000 calories a day, we have no room to go down. We can't drop you into a calorie deficit. Are you kidding me? If all of a sudden you say, oh, Jared, I have to work out every single day to lose weight. Well, that's not sustainable. If you do not have a healthy baseline to start with, we have issues. You cannot fix and optimize things if our starting point is so in the negatives. This is why we have to fix that first. Next, almost done with stage one, we have to fix your emotions and coping mechanisms. One of the biggest pieces of low-hanging fruit in the program, and it's one of the first things that we do in stage one, is we teach you how to handle emotions. Because if I can teach you how to feel, because fun fact, when you are running to food, you're not feeling. You are reacting to not feel. If you stress eat, it's because you're telling your body, I don't like the feeling of stress. Let's distract. You may say things like, oh, it's dopamine, and somehow validate it because you're like, oh, I have ADHD. I need to get dopamine. I have ADHD too, but just because you have ADHD doesn't mean you need to validate horrendous coping mechanisms that are going to just make you die early and pass on to your kids. So we have to fix the emotional side, these coping mechanisms that are not healthy at all. We have to fix your ability to implement. Cool, I have the best fat loss plan in the world, but if you can't implement it and you're stuck in that knowledge trap of I know what to do but don't do it, it's not going to be fixed. And that plan is worthless. So that's a stage one issue. If you constantly in that knowing what to do but not doing it, we have to fix that, because then when you're in stage two, you'll actually follow the plan. And then we have to, at the end of the day, fix the relationship with yourself, because a lot of the struggles that you have right now are just a reflection of the not so great relationship you have with you. So as we fix all of these things, your relationship with you is going to be on another level, because for most people, their relationship with food, their relationship with their emotions, their relationship with showing up, their self-confidence, all these things are just reflections and like a delayed mirror of the relationship with self. So we have to fix all of this. So in my neck of the woods, that is stage one. We fix all that right out the gate. It's the very first thing. We pause fat loss and go, cool, all of those things. Now, If you're like, holy shit, that is a lot and no wonder I struggle, and you don't know how to fix those, shoot me a message. Shoot me a message and say, that just says DFIO, Dieting from the Inside Out, and I will see if the program is a good fit for you. I don't believe in taking people on that we don't think we can completely change in everything about them and their life. So if you're like, oh my gosh, that makes sense why I struggle, but I have no idea how to tangibly fix that stuff, we literally have it all laid out in the program. Shoot me a message, DFIO, and I'll see if it's a good fit. But again, if it's not, no stress, but those things have to be fixed. Like, you should not go into your own stage 2. You have no right, in my opinion, to try to lose weight until every single one of those things you could say fixed, thriving, crushed. And if you can't say that, you are not ready to lose weight. And you may be thinking, well, Jared, I'm just going to lose weight now and then go back to that because I'm like motivated. That's not how it works. That's like saying, hey, you have that bucket full of holes and you go, well, once I get enough water, then I'll go back and fill up the holes. The holes are what's keeping you from filling your bucket up with water. So don't be tempted by the concept of, oh, I'm going to go lose weight now because I'm motivated to give me some momentum or motivation, whatever. And then I'm going to come back and fix that, because you never will. That's your old self. That's your sabotaging patterns sneaking in. This is why we have to also fix, that should be on that list too, your patterns of self-sabotage. But if you don't fix those, you will never get to where you want to be. I very rarely ever speak in indefinites, and I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to be one of the only people in your life that is going to be ruthlessly honest with you, because I care about you. At the end of the day, if you do not fix those things, you will never get to where you want to be. And again, like forget even like my program, this is not like me trying to be like, oh, sign up for my shit. Go sign up with my friend's program, assuming they fix this stuff too. But I'm telling you, you will never make it if you do not fix these things. It's literally impossible. How can you be in a calorie deficit, be consistent if your relationship with food is trash? How can you be consistent enough, long enough with the right actions if you have a terrible belief system and identity around yourself? So every time you do good for about 2 weeks, something always happens and you fall off. Inner game issue. How can you follow the most amazing fat loss plan in the world if you can't implement it? If you have this knowing what to do but not doing it pattern? If you feel, what if you feel so poorly about yourself because you have a horrible relationship with you? So then you're like, man, I don't even know if I'm worthy or good enough to even do this. And then all of a sudden you act in congruence with that voice. So you fall off. If white knuckling and it was just enough to eat less, move more, work harder, you would not be listening to this podcast episode. So for the love of all things holy, do not try to lose weight until that list is checked off. Because in my book, you have no right to lose weight until that list is checked off. Okay. That is in our neck of the woods. Stage 1, that is dieting from the inside out. If you do all that, you have successfully dieted from the inside out and are ready, seal of approval to go into fat loss. So stage 2 is called boring fat loss. The reason I call it boring fat loss is because that's how fat loss is supposed to be. Boring, not that big of a deal. Monotonous, doesn't take much mental bandwidth. Arguably easy. The reason I say that is because that's just literally, if you want this to be sustainable, you have to make it like that. Everything in your life that you are the most consistent and successful with is boring and monotonous. Like the analogy I always use is the most successful thing you have done in your life is probably brushed your teeth. You've been doing it for decades on end. You don't even think about it. And you probably have the best in your oral health, the best results anywhere else that you've had. So, but then why is it like that? Why is it that that's the case? It's because you are wildly consistent and it doesn't matter what happens. It is simple. The plan of brushing your teeth is simple, sustainable, practical, rooted in your identity, and you effortlessly do it on autopilot. So you don't even think about it. It's the same thing with losing weight. But the problem is most people are walking contradictions. They say, I'm an all or nothing person, but I want frictionless fat loss. See, that doesn't work. I'm the kind of person that I have to be all in or I am all out, but I don't want to have to think about this. And I just want to lose weight on autopilot, not think about food. Those two worlds never come together. We only find what we enable. So this is why it's a stage 1 thing. We got to go back and go like, are you an all or nothing person? Are you an all in or all out? What beliefs do you hold about yourself? See how it's a reflection of that? Because if you want fat loss to be simple, sustainable, practical, not that big of a deal, on autopilot where you don't have to think about it, where you can be normal around food, we have to let go of like 90% of the shit you hold on to and beliefs you hold, again, more stage 1 stuff. Because at the end of the day, this is where there's also inner work that goes into place, because most people, maybe you, have never had fat loss that was boring. You've always done it whenever you've lost weight. You only have done it where it was crazy and overwhelming and extreme and disordered and all or nothing, and you've always gained your weight back. Well, that's your history. Your brain only sees that. This is why we have to stack irrefutable evidence inside stage 2. This is what's called a neural pathway issue. We have to develop new neural pathways in your brain that, hey, this is how we lose weight now. This is how we do things. Think of it this way. Imagine your friend gifted you, let's say they're moving out of the country. They gave you a dog. Actually, I'm going to give you a really specific example. Shelby, my first dog, was a beautiful shepherd named Tesla. Unfortunately, cancer got to her, towards the end of her life. That's why she's no longer here. But, the reason we got Tesla, the shepherd, was Shelby's coworker at the time was moving out of country. She was literally going from here to Australia, and she couldn't take the dog. And Shelby and I were talking about getting a dog. So she said, hey, do you guys want Tesla? I know you'll take great care of her. So we said, yeah, we'd actually really like to take Tesla. And so we took Tesla, and she was now part of our family. Well, the rules at my house is very different than the rules at Shelby's coworker's house. For example, in my house, dogs are allowed on the couches. The one place dogs are not allowed is on the bed. It's our own little thing. Our dogs can be anywhere in the house. They don't sleep in bed with us. That's the only rule. Tesla didn't know that. How could she? She literally went from living with her old dog mom, who let her sleep in bed all the time and let her run around off leash all the time. Well, now Tesla lives with us. And at the time we lived close to the highway. We don't have let the dogs on the couch. I'm sorry, on the bed. They are on the couch, but we don't let them on the bed. So Tesla, her old patterns did what? She didn't know any better. She's hopping on the bed. And we have to correct her and not let her on the bed and get her off the bed. She used to just run around off leash. Well, a little too dangerous where we lived at the time. So we would put her on the leash, and she didn't necessarily like that. So, but that's just how her brain worked. She just continued. When she came to our house, that was just how she operated. She just did her normal thing. So there was a learning curve because her brain said, bed is mine. I can run around whenever I want, wherever I want, all this stuff. But that isn't how it was. We had to retrain her brain that, hey, bed is off limits, and we only go outside when we have a leash on. So, and over time, her new habits and neural pathways and new patterns picked that up. So it was effortless. It wasn't that big of a deal. Your brain is like Tesla's. Your brain only sees the only way you've ever done things is extreme, chaotic, overwhelming. Once I start, I can't stop. Extremist, disordered. I always gain my weight back. So those patterns are running the show. Just like with Tesla, her old patterns of jumping on the bed and sleeping, trying to sleep with us, was running the show until like the first little while, a couple months, it was kind of rough for her to unlearn that. It's the same thing here. When you try to lose weight, old patterns are going to try to take over. Something I teach our clients is that with every new level comes a new devil. It's the next challenge. This is where a lot of people go wrong, and some of you may resonate with what I'm about to say. I see people all the time who say, Jared, I went to work with a therapist or a food freedom coach or a person around my food issues way over there. They didn't do anything in the realm of fat loss. They just like food freedom coach or whatever. That's it. But then the client gets healed, or the person gets healed and they're good, and they go, I still don't like wearing double XL shirts. I don't like weighing 200 pounds or whatever it is. And so they go, I'm ready to start losing weight. And they come back over to the world of weight loss and they go, all these old patterns trigger like an ex-boyfriend. It's because you never fixed these things in the container here. You have to understand half of your trigger with all the shit in stage 1 you struggle with is because of your desire to lose weight. Because every time you've tried to lose weight in the past, it was bad. Disordered, extremist, all or nothing, no food groups, starving yourself, always gained your weight back, the works. So your brain just goes, that's what's normal. That's what's safe. That's where it gets really crazy, is because your brain craves safety, even if it sucks for you. So that's what's happening, where your brain is still in like fat loss equals crazy and I hate my life. This is where subconscious patterns start to take over. That whole like 80-90% thing I mentioned, this is where that starts to happen. So inside stage 2, we are retraining the brain on how to lose weight in a really sustainable way. We have to make fat loss chill, boring, and peaceful so that it's not that big of a deal. Otherwise, because at the end of the day, otherwise you're just going to be going back down the rabbit hole that you've been of it being a living hell. That's not sustainable, and you're going to gain your weight back in the whole 9 yards. So you have to understand also how you lose weight is how you keep it off. You don't brush your teeth, and once you have clean teeth, stop brushing your teeth and then get shocked that you have cavities. You plan on brushing your teeth for the rest of your life. So you have a system and plan that is conducive to do that. It's no different for fat loss. If you go, Jared, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 30 pounds. Cool. Do you want to keep it off? Cool. Then we have to keep doing the shit that got us here. You don't lose the weight and then all of a sudden go back to shitty eating habits and not working out and not regulating your nervous system. You don't do that. You're going to have some semblance of these habits ongoing. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be counting calories forever or tracking macros or doing that or certain things like that, but we have to have some semblance of habits to continue keeping our results. Otherwise, if you're following your plan and you're looking forward to going back to normal, your plan's too rigid. It's too strict. It's not boring enough. Because just assume from a values and principles standpoint, you're going to have to follow this for the rest of your life. This is why if you were to ask our clients, could you do what you're about to do for the next decade of your life? They go, oh yeah, it's not a problem. Because this is like a little 10-year test. If I said, hey, if you had to do what you're about to do for the next decade of your life or for the next 20, 30 years of your life, could you do it? Is it still doable? You should go, oh yeah, for sure. And if not, then we have problems, right? You plan on brushing your teeth till the day you die. So you have your plan that sustainable. We have to do that for the fat loss side of things. So once you get through stage 1, we fixed all of your internal game issues. Now you've earned the right to lose weight, but it has to be through this lens of boring fat loss. Every single thing has to be so simple, so sustainable, so practical, where you are not giving up anything that you don't want to. Like as in no food's off limits. You are able to go enjoy every area of your life, all the parties, all the get-togethers, all the pitch-ins, all the travel, all of the everything, the kids' birthdays, the Christmas mornings. Because if you can't do that, you're on the wrong plan. This is where a lot of the influencer people are like, no, food is fuel and nothing else. I literally just made a post on Instagram talking about this, and I gave images to show. I don't know about you. Actually, I would say this about you too. At least for me, the most amazing experiences I have in my life with the people I love the most, that have the memories that I will cherish until I die, are all surrounded by food. Think about it in your life. Anything that has to do with your kids, Christmas morning, birthday cakes, vacations, food is in all of that. About date night. Some of our favorite time together with me and my wife is on date night. We literally go and have dinner and have great conversation. Some of my most amazing memories with my friends, or like I could literally point to specific ones, whether it be staying up super late and having deep conversations around having candy and Diet Coke. Or one of my favorites is me and like 4 of my friends there's a photo of us at 3 a.m. in Las Vegas at a food court eating really shitty pizza because we just had the best night ever. And we were all sober. We're just eating pizza at 3 a.m. in the middle of Caesar's Palace. I will cherish these moments, and that's just a couple, not to mention so many others. But it's the same thing for you. The memories you want to have the most, that you will crave to go back to when you're on your deathbed, are all going to be surrounded by food. So if we just cut out food and like, oh, food is fuel, nothing else, you're not going to have memories or the body of your dreams. So that's why we have to heal the relationship with food. It goes back to stage 1 again. But we also have to make sure in this boring fat loss phase, you are going through it where you are enjoying your favorite foods. You are eating what you want. You have mastery around moderation. You don't feel uncontrolled. You don't exile a handful of different foods because you can't eat them without blacking out and going rogue and then waking up going, what did I do? This is why we have to lose the weight so carefully, because that is what is teaching your brain what's okay and what's allowed now. It's like raising a kid. You have to be careful how you raise them, because you are literally crafting their brain around what is okay in this world. It's the same thing for you as you lose weight. This is why there's some resistance in stage 2. I mean, at the end of the day, when I have clients going through stage 2, it's where old patterns are like, oh, I can feel myself wanting to restrict. I can feel myself wanting to be a little bit extreme. And that's huge, because now we're going against those old patterns. Because inside stage 1, it's easy for some of these patterns to stay a little bit at bay, but it's every new level's a new devil. So now we're going into stage 2, where we're focusing on fat loss and being more strategic and like monitoring metrics and all of this stuff. But it's now these old patterns are like, oh, this feels familiar. And the old things try to come out, but you're developing new neural pathways. So that's why there's plenty of inner work in stage 2. Okay. I hope this is making sense. And like I said, whether you ever work with us or not, I think it's important for you to approach your journey the same way. But again, if you want to work with us or see about the possibility of it, I should say, just shoot me a message, DFIO, and I'll see if we can help. Finally, stage 3, we call it maintenance mastery. Here's the belief shift I want you to have. If you don't have an exit strategy, no amount of willpower will help you. I have conversations every single week with people with this stuff. And a question I always ask is, cool, has anyone ever taught you how to keep the weight off once you do lose it? This is the question. I get some of the most deer in the headlight look, and they go, no. I go, that might explain one of the reasons why you always gain your weight back. Now, granted, if you didn't fix your inner game and you lost the weight in an unsustainable way, that was crazy. No amount of like maintenance mastery plan is going to help because you messed up the order of operations. But I've seen so many people work through their internal game issues and lose the weight in a sustainable way. But because they didn't have the mindset to master maintenance where they aren't dieting forever, old patterns take over and they gain their weight back that they just lost. Because again, every new level is a new devil. Because in maintenance mastery, let's say you've lost the weight, you made it, you did it, the 30 pounds are down, you're free around food, everything is perfect. New level, new devil. Now another level of old patterns are going to come out because most people have never made it to this point. Most people have never been taught how to keep the weight off and go through their life without being on a diet or on plan or trying to lose fat or whatever the case is. This is where most people subconsciously start to go find the weight they just lost because it feels safer to, again, the nervous system. We have to understand your nervous system only cares about survival and it's always on threat detection mode and it gravitates to what's most familiar. So if you've struggled for 30 years and you're on the other side of this for a year, that's amazing and needs to be celebrated. But we also don't want to be ignorant to the fact that old patterns can want to come up, which means we need to have the systems in place, what we do in maintenance mastery, to help be on guard. And so we don't fall victim to those. So I view if no one ever teaches you how to keep the weight off once you lose it, that's like giving that's like giving a kid Lamborghini keys at like 16. It's too much car for them. It's too much power. It's too much stuff. And it's no wonder the kid's going to get in a car accident. It's the same thing here. If no one's ever taught you how to keep the weight off, it's not your fault that you've always gained your weight back because it's a pattern thing. We see this in other areas of our lives as well. Think about someone who's retired. I don't know about you, but almost every person that I know that's retired, they all say, I'm busier now than I ever did with my 9 to 5. I don't know how I had the time to work 40 hours a week. It's because what happens is people be working their 9 to 5 and then all of a sudden they retire and it feels like something's missing. And then they all of a sudden catch themselves starting new hobbies. They catch themselves getting a second job. They get themselves, I'm going to go be really involved over here and go do this and this. It's because they gravitate to productivity because they've done it for 40, 50, 60 years. We see this also with empty nesters. I see this all the time where all of a sudden, as soon as mom and dad, the last kid leaves the nest, now all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm going to go help with the grandkids. Oh, let me do this and this and this and this and go almost parent all of these other people or things or daycare, whatever. It's because it's gravitating to that part of you that's always parented everything or your kids or what have you. It's just a pattern thing. One of my favorite examples of this, if you're watching the video, is cross your arms. Like if you're listening to this, cross your arms right now. Whatever arm's on top, like for me, my right arm is on top. Now uncross them and cross your arms the other way. This feels weird, doesn't it? Like you could sit with your arms crossed all day. You're good. But if you were to uncross them, we'll call it the wrong way, it feels funny. It's because from a nervous system standpoint, one is what you've done thousands of reps, the other not so much. So if you have thousands of reps in this one state of weight loss mode, trying to lose weight, you may have even identified as a dieter before. It's no wonder when you aren't doing that, you gravitate back to it. You subconsciously restrict. You all of a sudden, some stuff starts happening and you quit doing the habits and keeping up with them like you did. All this stuff. It's because you subconsciously go back to the pattern of, I got to gain the weight back to lose it again, because that's what feels safest. So this is why inside Maintenance Mastery, we teach our clients how to go through life mentally, emotionally, and tactically on how to keep their weight off forever. And we have frameworks around that. I mean, all of this, we have frameworks and systems for everything deep in the weeds with each of these, but this is why it's so important to have this laid out. So for you, again, whether you're ever going to work with us or not, if you're not especially, you need to have an exit strategy. So cool. Once I lose the weight, what am I doing? How am I going to master maintenance where I'm not actually trying to lose weight? We have our systems, but you have to have an exit strategy, because if you don't, it's no wonder old patterns kick in, because no amount of willpower will help you because you are on autopilot. A lot of people go through this ignorantly and they go, well, I'll just know. I'll wing it. I'll be okay. Do you want to put it up to risk that much? Because I can tell you, you're on autopilot all the time. And I work with people exclusively on their patterns. And willpower, if you're banking everything on willpower and thinking about this all the time, you're not going to make it. We have to have systems and plans and frameworks. Okay. So that's on the high level. I know this has been a lot so far. I know we're already 40 minutes in. So now, instead of leaving you just there, I want to take things a little bit deeper. I'm going to show you a layer deeper on how our food freedom and fat loss matrix works, because there are these 3 things that we do that fixes all issues with food and fat loss. So this is just a little bit deeper, because I want to give you a little bit more of a thought process in the intention and how we do things systematically, really deep in the trenches. So like I said, the 3 stages is our guiding true north, dieting from the inside out, boring fat loss, maintenance, mastery. So that is the stages we go through on a high level. Now, again, if I give you every ounce of what we do, one, it would be so much information. There's no way you could keep up. But then also we have to, I want to make sure this makes sense and not make this for the world's longest podcast episode. So a question that I get, though, a fair amount is how do you get this whole food freedom thing to happen so quickly? Because like for me in my program, if we don't get your issues around food, like your food noise, your binge eating, all that stuff cut in half by 6 weeks, you don't pay. Like that is my guarantee. But so a lot of people go, how in the world do you do that? How do you fix that? So we actually have what I like to call a food freedom and fat loss matrix. It's this multi-step process and how we do things. It's actually these 3 things that we do that fix all issues with food and fat loss. Now, of course, it's inside all of our other systems and frameworks, but there's 3 specific things that make everything come together. Makes fat loss so much easier and get you free around food. So number 1, the first thing we do. So again, I would, if you're working with us, awesome, we got you covered. But if you're not, run with this. The first thing we do is we maximize calories. When it comes to all of this, we keep our clients eating as much as possible at all times. This is why we don't do what I call race to the bottoms. When people, like an example of a race to the bottom is you drop into a calorie deficit, you plateau, you drop again, plateau, drop again, plateau, drop again, plateau, then you're at like 1,000 calories a day. We don't do that. We have different systems for what we call cycling calories to help keep our clients' metabolisms and calorie intake as high as possible. We only live in little deficits when we do go to deficits, and then we have specific frameworks and things that we do when we go in and out of deficits strategically to keep their metabolism and their calories as high as we can. So that's the first piece of the matrix, is maximize calories. We keep clients eating as much as possible, okay? Even while in a fat loss phase. Number 2, we separate emotions from food and teach them how to regulate them. You will never be free around food and never lose weight if you do not learn to regulate your emotions separately from food. I'm not talking about trade one distraction for another. I'm not saying go from eating food to when you're stressed or emotional to scrolling TikTok or working out every day or power cleaning your house. Most people make the mistake of they just trade one coping mechanism that's not very good and one distraction to another versus actually regulate and heal and build up their relationship with their emotions. So we have to separate emotions from food and actually regulate your nervous system. That's the second piece. And this stops emotional eating. Then number 3, we master moderation and heal the relationship with food. Your relationship with food is why you struggle with so many other things: food noise, binge eating, overeating. Once I start, I can't stop, feeling uncontrolled, all of the things like that. It's a reflection of your relationship with food, because if you're unable to master moderation, where you just have 2 Oreos and you're good, or where you can have food in your house and not think about it 24/7, where it's like calling your name. So many of the clients that we work with who used to struggle with binge eating really bad, they say that exact phrase. They say, food called my name. It's like the pantry would just be like, Sarah, or whatever. So we have to master moderation. Again, it comes down to frameworks and specifics and formulas and all this other stuff. This is the beautiful thing. In my program, we have it all mapped out for the next, like I said, I don't think I actually said on this. When someone joins my program, the next year of your life is taken care of. You don't have to think about anything. Literally the system and the processes and the frameworks and every single what to do is mapped out for the next year. That way you can have peace of mind of just showing up, checking the boxes. Everyone gets a to-do list in my app. It's beautiful. It's such an organized, streamlined thing. But this is why we have to, though, master moderation so we can heal the relationship with food. Because if you do just those three things, if you maximize your calories and how much you're actually eating, separating your emotions from food and actually regulate them, and master moderation and heal your entire relationship with food, you will be completely free around food and you will have such an easy time losing fat and keeping it off. This is why everything for us when it comes to these things are systems and framework driven. And I would encourage you, like I know obviously we don't have the time to get into every single system and framework. It's actually one of the things that we have whenever someone joins. We have a special library of the specific fully detailed videos going through each and every framework that we use for, like, when life gets busy and chaotic, or when you are ready to emotionally binge, or when your day-to-day goes haywire, you're not sure what to do, or how to handle holidays, or the frameworks for stopping self-sabotage or undoing old belief systems. Like, we have so many things and specific frameworks on all of that. And obviously you wouldn't absorb it even if I put it all in here in this one episode. But it's one of those things where if you are not running off frameworks and systems, it's no wonder you struggle, because you have to understand this. Look at everywhere else in your life. Your job has SOPs. So you have a very specific order and operation and process for literally how to clock in. For if you have, let's say, a lot of pressure and stress, let's say you're a nurse, or let's say you're an emergency response, or let's say any of this stuff, you have a specific order and operation, especially when things go crazy. Okay. Emergency response, exact systems and protocols. To be honest, just anything important in your life is very systemized. Is you have to understand this too, is when life gets busy and crazy, because we all can't escape it. Life gets busy, overwhelming, chaotic, shit hits the fan, so many things out of our control happens. And that's when people lose it, is because if you don't have a framework to lean into that you can depend on, that can ground you and keep you moving forward when life gets sticky, you are one bad day from losing everything. You're one bad day from all your consistency going out the window. You're one bad day from all the time, money, effort, energy you've put into whatever being gone. This is why for us, we plan everything and we have systems. So on those bad days, we keep your head above water. It's about raising your floor, not making your best day better. So this is no different. You have to understand you're on autopilot 90% of the time, 80 to 90%, most of us 90%. So you can't rely on just thinking and just like, I'll figure it out. It's not how it works, because your whole life doesn't operate that way. Your brain does not give you actual access to everything in front of you, because you would go psychotic. For numbers wise, here's a little neuroscience lesson for you. Your conscious mind can only handle about 50 bits of information per second. Your subconscious mind can handle about 11 million bits of information per second. But how fast do your 50 get filled up? Well, as soon as your eyes open, you're scrolling, thinking about your calendar, the laundry, work, getting kids out the door, making the bed, like 50 things go by that quick. This is also why we work with your subconscious and work with the way your brain works, because if we can program your brain the right way, you don't have to think about things as much. I mean, literally, you think about enough. You have enough to think about. Think about your kids, your work, your responsibilities, your house, your job, your partner, planning stuff, holiday, the works. The last thing you need to be doing is coaching yourself and trying to think through all of this stuff, especially when it's so easily accessible to have it all laid out for you. It makes everything 10 times easier. So that's the biggest piece to this, because I want to get that you can apply to your situation. I had to be careful. I'm hoping this did okay and made sense for you, because I could make this so overwhelming if I showed you everything, but I want this to be really, really absorbable, and where you can go, I'm going to run away with that. Oh, okay, that was my nugget. I'm going to run with that. So whether you ever work with us or not, I know I've repeated that several times, is follow these 3 stages. These 3 stages are what I have perfected and built everything off of for the last 15 years, coaching thousands of women with all of these issues. So this is not just something I pulled out of my ass. This is all backed by psychology, neuroscience, and regular science. So here's the other piece. I want this to be so believable to you that, like, this is possible where you can change your life. Here's some other context for you. Because it's easy right around now when you hear this kind of stuff, it's easy in the back of your head for that voice that sabotages you, that old pattern we talked about from stage 1, to go, well, I'm different. I can't do it. These people probably are like this, and this. I'm whatever. I'm this. Here's why I can't do it. Here's some context about the majority of our clients. Most of our clients are all high achievers and wildly busy. Like their calendar never slows down. They need about 35 hours in the day, and they have so much stress and pressure that would break the average man. The vast majority of the women that I work with are women. The majority are 40 to 50 years old, plus some 70s and even 80s, as far as clients. So if you're like, oh, I'm 55, I'm too old, too far gone. Well, what would you say to my 65-year-old client who is down like 30 pounds and hasn't binge eaten in like a year? Right? So most of our clients also started dieting when they were little, just like me. They've been dieting as long as they can remember. They remember going to Weight Watcher meetings with mom. They were put on the Atkins diet at 15. They have been struggling for more years than they've not. Might feel familiar? They come to us with issues around food. I'll put it this way. I don't ever get someone who comes to my program that's good, without food issues, without binge eating issues, without pattern issues, without feeling uncontrolled, without having mindset issues, without having emotional regulation issues. This is not, in my neck of the woods, the like sprinkles on top. This is the cake. It's my favorite thing to fix. And this is why I specifically have chosen to serve these people like you for my entire career. Okay. Then finally, our clients also have a history of weight gain, yo-yo dieting, and frustration. The reason I bring that up is because they're just like you. It is so easy when you are in the trenches of this stuff where you feel like you're the only one. You're the only one that binge eats. You're the only one that can't keep Oreos in the house. You're the only one that got started on this when you were little. You're the only one that feels like you're too old, too far gone, and you don't have time, whatever. And it's not true. This is the vast majority of people that we work with. And it's also why, because of all that, we run straight to the parts of your brain that run the show. Your brain, your patterns, your emotions. And it's also why, when it comes to this stuff, we can fix decades of struggle in just weeks or months. Some people like they'll hear the podcast where I'll bring on clients who are crushing it, and they'll hear their whole story and they're like, I didn't even think that was possible. It's because we go straight to the source. If I can just go straight to your brain and your emotions and your patterns and what actually run the 90% of your day to day, it's crazy how fast we can make progress. And again, I put my money where my mouth is. If someone joins my program and you don't have your issues and food noise and stress eating and all that stuff cut in half in 6 weeks, you don't pay. Like that's how well it works. And I've been doing this for 15 years and I've never once had to give someone pull that card and give someone their money back or anything like that, because it works. The program works, and it is the coolest thing ever. And I'm so blessed and fortunate to be in the trenches with all of these women every single day with this kind of stuff. So like I said, I hope this episode was helpful. I hope this kind of opened your eyes and shifted your beliefs around what's possible and ultimately how to get to where you want to be. Because again, if you want to see if my exact program is a good fit for you, just shoot me a message, just shoot me a message on Instagram at @RealJaredHamilton that just says DFIO. And I'll see if it's the right fit, and I'll ask you a few questions. But whether you ever do that or not, I'm telling you, run with what I taught you here. Follow the 3 stages for your life. Use the food freedom matrix, the three pieces, the 3 frameworks on how to fix that so you become free around food and have effortless fat loss. Because at the end of the day, it works. It works every single time, and it works beautifully. It's not easy, but it is so simple, and it will change your life. And that is it. I hope this was helpful. Let us know if you need anything, and I appreciate you being here. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll talk to you next week.